Hello, everyone. I am Hana, evolutionary astrologer, and we are currently already actually in the eclipse season. And I want to tell you all about it. I want to tell you what it means, how to align with these energies, how to navigate these times that we're in, where these eclipses are happening, and more. So, the first thing and the most important thing about eclipses is that they're powerful moments. They're powerful, they're significant moments in astrology. They happen around every 6 months. So, this is not like a rare, once in a lifetime event. But every time they arrive, they open up a portal, a threshold, a turning point. So this is why whenever we enter eclipse season, which is we're in it right now, it is so important to pay attention. Notice in your life what is shifting, what's happening, what's leaving, who's arriving, what's arriving. And if we think a little bit about our ancestors, long before astronomy and science were able to explain, the mechanism of the eclipses, our ancestors were already watching the stars, were already watching the skies, and they understood that eclipses are time that bring up mystery and a lot of power. So around the world, there's so many myths, there's so many legends about these celestial events. So for example, in ancient China, people believed that a dragon was devouring the sun. So they would bang drums to, try to scare it away. In South America, the Incas, for example, they saw eclipses as signs of divine wrath. So the leaders would seek, all the ways to try to restore balance into the community. In Egypt, in ancient Egypt, a pep was a serpent of chaos. Was, during eclipse times, it was said that a pep was battling Ra. Ra is the sun god, threatening to swallow the sun, threatening to swallow the light of Ra. So you see that across cultures, eclipses were never seen as just an ordinary moment. They were omens, they were bringing messages, and they were really turning points. So this eclipse season happening in September 2025, we are already in it. Whenever you watch this video, we're in it, even though the two eclipses are happening on September 7th. So that's when we will experience a total lunar eclipse in Pisces. So this is going to be during the full moon. I'm going to show you the chart of it in just a moment. And it's happening at 15 degrees of Pisces. And then 2 weeks later, on September 21st, we will have a partial solar eclipse in Virgo. And this is happening at the last degree of the sign of Virgo, which is a 29th degree. So very, very powerful and significant. And this will also be the new moon. So again, the first one on September 7th, that's a full moon. And then the following one, 2 weeks later, is the new moon solar eclipse. So think of these two as a pair, a sacred pair, really, of these two cosmic events that are holding hands, that are speaking to one another, and they're really setting up the stage for us for profound change within us, around us, in our lives, in the lives of people around us. So if you have planets or angles near those degrees, I'll repeat it, 15 degrees of Pisces and 29 degrees of Virgo. So if you have planets there, pay extra attention. These eclipses are going to be extra significant for you. They are really the cosmic spotlights, so when they touch something in your chart directly, these activations become even more significant, even more powerful. So, um, also, so anything around, Virgo, Pisces, but also the degrees of Gemini and Sagittarius, because they will square those, the eclipses where the eclipses are happening. Okay. So if you have planets there in your chart, know that This eclipse is speaking directly to you. Now, why do eclipses matter? Why? Like, why should we pay attention to them? Why have we, as human beings, been paying attention to them? Because eclipses are portals. They're acting like big vortexes and milestones. So they're marking exits and arrivals. Think about the symbolism of that. And that can feel quite dramatic, when you think about these gateways opening up and so much is coming through. It can sound quite dramatic, but even history shows us this. Many kings were born during eclipse season, and also many kings transition during eclipse season. So you see how it marks, shifts in power, shifts in our destiny. So these moments, eclipse moments, carry a higher intelligence. Whatever name you use to call this higher intelligence, maybe you use the word God or goddess or the universe or life or source, whatever name resonates with you. Imagine that during eclipse times, it's a moment where life is moving through us, and free will is such an important part of our human experience, right? It's part of our empowerment. It's part of us recognizing ourselves as sovereign beings, as capable of choosing our destiny, creating our destiny. But there's something quite fated about eclipse seasons, where there are these larger forces that are coming and really shuffling things in our lives. And it's almost like someone else is running the show. But at a deeper level, there is this higher intelligence that is taking us to where we need to be at, or removing something that needs to be released so something else can come through. So it is very much a time, and this is very much about how to work with this energy. It is a time to observe. It is a time to notice. It's a time to listen, see what's unfolding because it's not random, even if it feels like a loss. Maybe you're losing your job, maybe a relationship is ending, maybe, there is a door closing for you. But think about how this divine higher intelligence is redirecting you. And something that may look like an ending actually can be a brand new beginning. You just don't know it yet. So if something leaves, if someone leaves, trust that space, is being created for something new to come through. And recognize, I think that's the most important suggestion, you know, for the eclipse season is to know that everything is part of that higher alignment. And even when it doesn't look like, even when it looks like, you know, sour. Um, and yeah, so eclipse can bring big shifts. Maybe you're moving to a new city, maybe it's a new relationship, maybe something big is ending. Um, but it can also be very subtle. It could be a new insight, a realization, a whisper that maybe it's coming from your own inner self that says it is time to change. Something needs to change. Something needs to happen. I need to start this project. So whatever it is, you know, think that eclipses help to realign with our soul path. So it takes us to our next step in our evolutionary journey, right? Even if we don't fully understand it yet, the alignment is happening at a deep, deep soul level. Okay. It's so interesting to, how many times I look back at something in my life that I didn't know it was beginning or something that was going to be important in my life, and I realized, wow, it was happening during the eclipse season, right? So when I say eclipse season, also just to clarify this, we're not just talking about the two dates of the eclipses, so not just about September 7th and September 21st. We're really talking about the whole month, the weeks before September 7th, the weeks in between the eclipses, and the weeks afterwards. So it's the whole period. Let's, just for simplicity's sake, let's say it's around 6 to 8 weeks. Now, Practical guidance. How do you move through this eclipse season? Number one, be present. Notice what's arising in your life. Keep notes, track patterns, connect the dots. Honor the energy. Do your rituals, do your meditation, do your breath work, go to nature, connect with yourself. And again, the most important one, trust the process. Trust what's happening. Okay? So I want to show you these eclipses. So you see exactly where they're happening, and you can take a look at this in your chart as well. So here you have the first one, that's the lunar eclipse. That's the one. Well, first of all, these eclipses are happening in the Virgo Pisces axis. This is really, really important. If you haven't seen my video on this axis, um, please do. I will have that link for you on the description. This is where I really talk about what the Virgo Pisces axis is about, because we are in this period where we are all experiencing this axis, and it's a period of pretty much a year and a half. So if you haven't watched that video yet, please do. There's lots of good information there. Uh, so the Virgo Pisces axis is all about work. It's about employment. It's about our service. It's about our health, routine, and healing. Okay. So there's a huge conversation here about what is up to me, versus what's not up to me. What do I have to surrender to? So it's about order. It's about bringing order. It's about bringing structure into your life and, bringing health into your life. But also it is about surrendering, flowing, and the connection really at its best. We're really speaking about connecting the material with the spiritual. It's such a deep axis that we're all really working through. So as you can see, the first eclipse, it's a total lunar eclipse. It's happening during the full moon, and it's on September 7th, and it's at the 15th degree of the sign of Pisces. So again, if you have planets around the mid degrees of Pisces, of Virgo, of Sagittarius, and Gemini, this is going to be speaking to you directly. Pisces is the dreamer, the mystic, right? A lunar eclipse here can be about dissolution. Maybe there's something here about old illusions being washed away, outdated emotional patterns. This is such an intuitive time. This is something, if you have any sort of a spiritual practice, I strongly suggest that connect. Really, Pisces is where we truly are all one, just from different points of view. So how can you connect in with that which you already are? But go to nature, do your meditation, do your rituals, see what's coming through for you, the intuitions, the dreams. It's that very it's the spiritual realms. It's the realms beyond, the to-do list. But it's a lot here again about service, about fulfillment. Are you happy with your life? Are you happy with your service? Are you happy with your work? Are you happy with your life as a whole? And then we have the next 2 weeks later, we have the solar eclipse. This is happening in Virgo. Um, at the 29th degree of Virgo, which is a very concentrated degree. Whenever we, in astrology, whenever we have these 0 degrees or 29 degrees, this is like the beginning and the ending of that sign. So it's like the last breath, the last test, right? The last moment before we start a brand new cycle here. So there's something really concentrated about this degree, about this energy. And Virgo is the healer, right? Virgo is the one who refines Pisces' dreams, and Virgo gets to work. And so there is, this almost like this threshold moment here where we, maybe this is such an incredible opportunities to realign our routines, our health, our habits, the way we serve. Again, we bring this to our jobs, we bring this to our service and our systems, our routine, our practices, our daily choices. Virgo is all about our daily choices that come together, all the daily things that you do when you come together, they form your day, right? So what needs to be healed, what needs to be refined, how, where are you ready to evolve? So that can be, supportive of the next version of you. So yeah, so there's so much about the Pisces Virgo axis here that is yeah, just really, really powerful. And again, the themes, we can expect employment, shifts in employment, a lot about our daily routines, the the meaning we find in our service. So maybe it's a time for some of us who will want to shift the type of work we're in, or life is going to bring situations where there's going to be changes related to our career, employment, or work, new beginnings, endings. Health, health is big. What needs to be healed? How is your connection with your body? So any realization about body, mind, spirit, are there unhealthy habits? Are there unhealthy cycles? What needs to be released? What needs to be healed? The other thing about this axis is very much about what is up to you, what is up to me, versus where do I have to surrender to the greater mysteries. Pisces, Virgo, Pisces, what's up to me, what I can control versus what is beyond me. And so again, this is spiritual alignment, it is, especially with the North Node in Pisces, it's such an opportunity for all of us. The next time the North Node will be in Pisces will be in 18 years from now. So this is an invitation for all of us, for all of humanity to open up to our infinite selves, to develop our spiritual identity, to touch on the deeper layers of existence that live beyond everyday life, but then bring that into everyday life. Bring the sacred into everything we do, everything we say, the way we live, the way we eat, the way we connect, the way we talk. It's not enough to disconnect with the sacred and come back to our lives and forget about it. It is about embodying it in our daily lives, being that, completely and fully. Um, how amazing would it be if each one of us could do that or did that, because we all can do that. And then we came together and formed that powerful grid, remembering that we are truly one species, one being, and just coming from different perspectives, right? You are me just from a different perspective from a different point of view. So the wisdom, that's the wisdom of the Virgo Pisces axis. And again, weaving that divine back into our daily lives, our practices, our habits, our routines, right? The spirituality is not just about something abstract, but it becomes alive when it's embodied in the way you live, in the way you work, in the way you serve, in the way you breathe, and so forth. This is it's such an That's the alchemy of this axis, right? Pisces awakens our spirit, our imagination, our infinite possibility, and Virgo brings it, it translates that into um embodied our sacred routines and embodied devotion to ourselves and others. So yeah, so how to flow with this energy, a few more tips and suggestions here. Um, you know, Build breathing room in your calendar, leave space for for the unexpected. Maybe things will be delayed, maybe there's going to be breakthroughs, maybe there's going to be shifts where it's beyond what's on your calendar. So make this breathing room. Um, know that this things can go happen beyond our plans, and if there's something that you're planning, if there's something that a big decision or a big launch that you can wait for after the eclipse season, it's a good idea unless you really feel that the energy is, taking you there. So if there's clarity, if there's clarity, we got to trust that. Um, but again, connect with yourself. Maybe it's through writing, journaling, painting, dancing, doodling, connect with your creativity, connect, this is a spirit, that's a spiritual practice in itself, connecting with your creativity. Maybe it's through nature, maybe it's through being around water, detox your inner landscape. So take a look at the habits that are draining you, the foods you're eating, the mental clutter, imaginate. So that part of yourself, in order for it to bloom and to really for us to have access to this, like it needs a little space to breathe. So there's a lot of mental emotional clutter that's going to make it a little hard as well. So, you know, Virgo is the cleaner, right? It's the cleanser, it's the purifier. So see what needs to be cleansed and purified and healed. So do your spiritual practice, whatever nurtures your soul, meditation, silence the mind so you can hear, hug the trees, chant, pray, whatever you love, whatever makes you feel connected to the divine. Um, I strongly suggest you do that. And eat good food, hydrate your body, treat your body as the sacred vessel that it is. That's such the part of the wisdom of this axis. We are, these spiritual beings living in a body, and our bodies are really our homes, our palaces, our earth suit, right? Uh, if there's something you're struggling with, if you need help, ask for it. Call your guides, call your angels, call your highest counsel. Rest, take breaths, take breaks from social media as well. And yeah, and replenish your body and trust what you feel, see what's coming through. Maybe there's going to be morning tears, or you're going to catch yourself daydreaming, or everything is part of your magical soup that is happening. The good, the bad, in everything else in between. Everything is part of this much, greater intelligence that is taking you to where you need to be at and giving you the messages you need to receive, and taking away the things that are not a part of your path anymore. So, with that, happy eclipse season. Be well, be safe, and I will see you on the other side.